Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. And I hope that everybody had a very nice and relaxing um 3-day weekend. I know I did. I myself pretty much stayed low or laid low and just took it easy at home. Relaxed, played some video games, and just did some planning for the final few weeks of school that we have left. I can't believe we're just at that point at the end of the year. As always, I miss you all very, very much. And before you know it, um, it'll be the summer, and then we will be back, hopefully, in the fall. And I know things are in motion for. We're coming up with plans for the, um, for the fall. So um, stay tuned for that. In the meantime, um, while we're well, can't talk today. Today we're going to take a look at one of my favorite topics that I came up with, and that is the lighter side of music. Now, what I mean by that is we're going to look at we're going to look at two different artists. Not the one that I have here. But we are going to look at this artist here. Some of you may know who he is. And if you do, great. We're going to look at just a few of his songs. I had to be a little bit picky about which songs I could share with you. So I apologize for that in advance if some of your favorite songs by him didn't come up in this presentation. Like I said, I had to be picky. But we will listen to 3 of his popular songs. But we are going to take a look at some of the sillier types of music. So without further ado, the lighter side of music. So, music and its uses. Hang on a second. Music and its uses. Celebrations. We've said that about 1 billion times, right? We use music for celebrations, like parties, anniversaries, weddings, birthdays, those kind of things. We use music for memorials or ceremonies. These can be happy occasions, sad occasions. They can be reflective or, moments of silence. They can be, well, maybe not moments of silence. You shouldn't really be using music for those, but you know what I mean. They can be, any ceremonies that you can think of. Concerts and public performances, Montreal or in Albany or Schenectady or wherever you might go. Music is always a part of those things. But what else? Where else is music used? Well, you could have it for personal use, right? You could listen to music at home on your own. And that's pretty much like, I would say, 60%, maybe 70% of how you use music is at home, on your own, right? You sit and listen to music. So today we're looking at the sillier side of music. And by that, I mean we're talking about parodies. Now, what are parodies? But today, parody, notice I said musical parody, is changing the words or the musical idea to an existing song, a song that's already been written. Most of the time, the thing that changes in these songs are the words. That's the most noticeable thing. Then the melody changes. All right? But the first thing you really notice is the words. They change the words up. That's the kind of the first thing that hits your ears when you hear a song that's parody. Is like, I recognize the melody, but the words are different. All right, And when a singer parodies a song, we call it parodying, okay? It's a compliment. It's always a compliment to the original artist because it means that the song's popular. Okay, Weird Al Yankovic, who we're going to talk about in a little bit, when he parodies a song, it means that that artist is really popular. All right? He's parodied probably 100, maybe more than 100 songs, right? And when he does that, though, he receives permission before he parodies a song. But you don't have to receive permission to parody a song. You are allowed to do that. But he always does. Why? Because he wants to be kind and respectful to the original artist. All right? He doesn't do it to make fun of the artist. He doesn't do it to disrespect them. He does it so that he can show the world, hey, this song is actually pretty good, and I'm going to kind of put my own spin on it, right? So that's what a parody is. So, the first group, before we get to Weird Al, I kind of wanted to warm you up to Weird Al. The first group we're going to look at is the Ruddles. Now, they're a British group. They were a British group. They don't exist anymore. But they were a British group from the late 1970s or so. And anybody want to take a guess what the name of the group is a parody of? Really? The Ruddles? If you can see this picture up here, they're kind of dressed like, yes, the Beatles. And yeah, they were they parodied a lot of the Beatles music. But not just the Beatles. And they did songs by Elvis and other famous groups of the 50s, the 1960s, and the 1970s. And they were originally what we call a sketch artist group, meaning when they did their songs, they did them on television. So they would dress up in costumes, and they would kind of have some kind of skit accompanied to it. I think they had some kind of skit to it. Couldn't really find much footage of those skits online, although I'm going to kind of keep looking. But I found a lot of their songs, and their songs were single songs. And they would parody, again, the original songs by Beatles, Elvis, Chuck Berry, I think, was one. And they made a ton of appearances on television, but as I was kind of informed by a family member, most of their appearances were on television in England. Okay, they didn't really make much of an appearance here in the United States, unfortunately, but they were pretty popular over there. And even the original Beatles were in on the joke. They knew about the Ruddles. George Harrison was actually, and he was one of the original Beatles, said that, and he actually helped form the Ruddles. He was kind of like behind it. He said, the Ruddles sort of liberated me from the Beatles in a way. Liberated means free. The Ruddles sort of liberated me from the Beatles. It was the only thing I saw of those Beatles television shows they made. It was actually the best, funniest, and most scathing. Scathing means, well, it's kind of hard to explain the word scathing. But I'll come back to you on that. But at the same time, it was done with the most love. So here's some Ruddles examples. Hold My Hand, which is a parody of Hold My Hand and 8 Days a Week. So you can kind of hear it has that. So that is completely different word-wise than the original "Hold My I Want to Hold Your Hand" by the Beatles and 8 Days a Week, but the style is more like their song 8 Days a Week. I love you. But the words are more along the lines of I want to hold your hand. That one. Okay? This next one is Nevertheless, which is a parody of Love You Too and With You Without You, also by the Beatles. This one's a short one, I promise. Very short. I love the sitar at the beginning of this.
It's not my cup of tea. It's all the same to me. For we are here today and gone tomorrow. Nevertheless, make the most of it. Make the most of it. Nevertheless.
Right? So that one is as that was a parody. We don't have time to look at this one, but this one was a parody of Blue Suede Shoes and Roll Over Beethoven. Okay, so now, lastly, our parody artist Weird Al Yankovic. He's a musician who writes parodies of favorite songs. He's written numerous or multiple parodies. He's probably one of the most famous parody artists in the entire world. He's been doing this for 40 years now, and I don't think he plans on stopping. When he was in college, he had sent in tapes to a radio show, and he was using his accordion. Yep, he's actually really good at the accordion too. Take a listen to him sometime. If you ever go to one of his concerts, he'll play the accordion if you're lucky. Some of his most famous parodies include "Eat It," which is as you know, is a parody of "Beat It, Beat It." Another one, "Rides the Bus." Another one, "Rides the Bus." And another comes on, and another comes on. Another one, "Rides the Bus." "Tacky," which is a parody of "Happy," because I'm tacky, na, 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 na. And a bunch of others. Cool fact, and your parents might know this, he once starred in his own movie called UHF, which is about a story about a guy who creates his own television station. Pretty cool, huh? I Lost on Jeopardy. This is one of my favorites.
Is Don in the booth? He's ready. Okay, here we go.
We're only going to watch a little bit of this.
Cameras 1 and 3, that's fine. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Cue lights, music.
Going to skip ahead a little bit.
This is Alfred Yankovic from Linwood, California. Jeopardy!
I was there to match my intellect on national TV against a plumber and an architect, both with a PhD. I was tense, I was nervous, I guess it just wasn't my night. Our Fleming gave the answers, oh, but I couldn't get the question
Yeah. So I lost on Jeopardy. That's a good one. Here's Eat It. I had to skip ahead.
How come you're always such a fussy young man? Don't want no Captain Crunch, don't want no Raisin Bran. Well, don't you know that other kids are starving in Japan? So eat it, just eat it. Don't wanna argue, I don't wanna debate. Don't wanna hear about what kind of food you hate. You won't get no dessert till you clean up your plate. So eat it. Don't you tell me you're full, just eat it. Eat it. Get yourself an egg and beat it. Have some more chicken, have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried. Just eat it. Just eat it. Just eat it. Just eat it. Oh! Your table manners are a crime.
Okay, and the last one I wanted to show you was eBay, which is a parody of I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys.
Mint snow globe, a Smurf, TV tray. I bought on eBay my house. Tell me why I need another pet rock. Tell me why I got that alpha alarm clock. Tell me why I bid on Shatner's old toupee. They had it on eBay. I buy your knick-knack.
So you could tell, Weird Al is very clever in how he parodies songs. And he doesn't always change the melodies to songs, but he changes the words so that you can remember what he parodies. And that's what's made him so popular over the years. So that's parodies, okay? And that's the lighter side of music. I hope you enjoyed this topic, and I hope everybody's doing well. Please stay safe and stay healthy as always, and feel free to, as always, email me. Take care, everybody.